All right, time once again for Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. We're also on 1010XL's Facebook page as well as live on my personal page. You can always check that out. I'm all over social media and always fun to do that. Great to be here in the 1010XL studios. You can also check the show. If you don't catch it live, it'll be archived on YouTube, spread out all throughout. And you can also check it out at 1010XL.com. Brought to you by my good friends at the Carpet Man, LVP, baby. Luxury vinyl planking. Trust me, I don't know the numbers exactly, but you cannot match the pricing. And the quality, well, we know it's the Carpet Man, so it's top-notch quality. And check him out, of course. And the Southern Grill, also brought to you by the Southern Grill. My friend Joey Farah has been in the game a long time, knows how to cook, that man, without question. Some of the best, freshest Southern cooking you've ever had. The Southern Grill right there on the South Bank in downtown Jacks. All right, lots to get into around the National Football League, football in general, including, of course, draft prospects. I'll save that for a little bit. We'll start off with some Jag news. Josh Wells making a return visit. Man, talk about going around the sun. Leaves for Tampa for 4 years, and now he's back. He was a swing tackle for them. Let's see. For Tampa Bay, 56 games, and he had 15 starts in those 4 years. So he's a guy that can start. He's a guy that can play either right or left tackle, and looks like from everything I've read, he's happy to be back, man. It's good. Great. You need an offensive lineman that you can count on. Especially at that coveted tackle position. Graham Marsh is here, my esteemed producer. What's up, Graham?
How are we doing, sir?
How you doing? Do you have a nice Easter? And hey, I hope everyone had a happy Easter out there. We had a great one. Great Easter.
It was fantastic. Spent the early part of the day with my girlfriend's family and the nightcap with my family. So
very nice.
Nice. Got
a
lot of family time.
Yep.
Plenty of food, plenty of drink.
Yep. Great food always.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving and Easter is always a great meal. And Christmas is a great meal. But Thanksgiving and Easter, you can count on a really good meal.
Oh, yeah.
Hefty, hearty.
Absolutely.
Hearty type meal, which I like. I did a lot of the same. Went to some family friends. It was really family. And then went and saw my mom as well. So I had all my girls in town, which is fantastic. By the way, my oldest, Avery Ann, is 22 years of age today on April the 11th. She was born in 2001. So happy birthday, Avery Ann. We love you. Going to see you later in a little bit down there in St. Augustine. I even said happy birthday to my wife. That was quite the workout now. This was the first one. She pushed for about 2 hours. I mean, the third one, it was like one push. Shing! Go long. Catch her right over my shoulder. I mean, it was like, wow, that was quick, babe. Good job. Let's go. We're done. But Avery, it was funny. It was funny. I got, first time dad. I'm getting all excited. I can remember, like, I got her behind her back and got her underneath her. I'm like, come on, baby, push. Finally, the doctor's like, Tom, it's just, you got to calm down for a second. And I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. And then I backed up.
You're giving a locker room speech.
Time, man.
Like...
Yeah, right. Come on, babe, come on. It was unbelievable. And then when Avery came out, she sat her up. Her legs just went flump. I mean, I felt like they went right to the floor. She was so long. Such a beautiful baby and a great kid. So happy birthday to her. All right. So great to have Josh Wells back. I think that's, look, it's a guy that you need, and you never know what can happen at that tackle position. It sounds like, from what you read on Jaguars.com, which I go to a lot, Walker Little's the guy, and he's going to be backing up Walker, and of course Cam on the other side, and him and Cam are friends. Him and Tyler Shatley are friends, and he'll get to know, of course, the young Walker Little, who just turned 24, I think, not too long ago. So good to have him back. You're looking at this draft upcoming. By the way, the Jags bringing in a ton of prospects. Did you see the list of prospects? John Shipley put them up on SI.com. Did you see those? That have, that you get 30 you can bring in pre-draft.
Oh, the list that the Jaguars have
brought in. I'm sorry, I didn't explain that. You know how you get 30, each team gets 30 that they can bring in? I think they brought in 13 so far. Majority edge or corner. Majority. Couple running backs. And guess what other one position, at least what I saw this morning. Quentin Johnson from TCU.
Oh, wide receiver.
Kind of just, it's like right at the bottom of the list. You're seeing like 8 edges. You're seeing some, some corners.
Yeah.
You're seeing, and all of a sudden, Quentin Johnson, TCU, like,
I wonder if they'll give the other receivers a look as well, like Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers could be there. He keeps getting hotter and hotter, man.
Zay Flowers is a beast.
He is. Look, the question is, how do you play him? Is he a number one? He's not as fast as Tyreek Hill, but he's fast, don't get me wrong. And he's quick, and I love him. But he's 5'9". He's a smaller guy.
I think
can he be an X for you, or is he more, and I didn't mean to cut you off, can he be an X, or can you move him around? Hey, in today's game, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, wide receivers go all over the place. They're just trying to get that best matchup. So in terms of creating a matchup problem for the defense, no question. I mean, he's phenomenal. And I'm okay wherever you play him, for the record.
I think if you're drafting Zay Flowers, you are drafting a much more polished wide receiver version of Jamal Agnew. Yeah,
he can run routes phenomenal. He's a great route
physically
runner.
The same type of dude, except Zay Flowers has been playing wide receiver for a lot longer.
Yeah. Now, if you bring in Quentin Johnson, he's an X. I mean, he's
that's
maybe a number 2, but clearly a number 1.
Yeah,
a big guy that can get down the field and whatnot. So
maybe not to this level, but that's a DeAndre Hopkins type of guy you're drafting. Big body, physically imposing.
So if I'm a team, and you look at the Ravens who picked at 22, who I'm going to talk about, OBJ going there for a year, he would be a good fit because he doesn't have to be the number 1 guy. You know what I mean? Zay Flowers is what I'm talking about there. So obviously a little biased with Boston College, but I've been watching him for a while, and I know you Florida State fans have seen him up close and personal. Like even after kicking the crap out of BC, you went, number 4 is pretty good. Because he is very, very good. All right, so we'll stay on with the NFL all throughout the league. Justin Simmons, massive deal for the massive tackle. The guy's one of the best. He's one of the best. He's a nightmare at 3 technique for the Tennessee Titans. He gets 4 years, $92 million, $66 million guaranteed. The money is incredible and good for him. I'm glad they can get all the money you can get. Because it will one day not be there. Obviously, with $66 million, it should always be there. But he's a great player, and he should be one of the top-paid defensive linemen. Everybody wants everyone that runs a 4-3, which I prefer. You have that. You got to have that 3 technique that's disruptive. Whether it's Donald, whether it's Jones, whether it's Justin Simmons, whoever it may be, that 3 technique. Why? Because that guard, you can't always double him. The tackle can't always come down to help that guard out. He's got to take on that 3 technique one-on-one. A lot of times those guys are just better athletes, or just bigger. Fletcher Cox, another one. Can you imagine trying to block? I mean, granted, I'm not 6'6", 330 trying to block him, but still, these guys are incredible athletes and big on top of that. But good for him. That was, hey man, I know they're the enemy, Tennessee. It's going to be interesting what they do at quarterback. It looks like they're you hear all these rumors that they're looking at moving up. And that Hendon Hooker, man, he keeps popping up. He does. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Once the 4 are off, what happens? I don't think he's going to jump in front of the 4.
No.
I don't. And it sounds like Will Levis had a really good visit recently. Real smart guy.
Yeah.
So they look, it's not a toss-up for 1 and 2, I don't think. I think that's Stroud and Young. I do. Unless you get crazy with Anthony, Richardson. I don't think no one's taken the kid from Kentucky, number 1.
I would.
So he's going to be 3 at least, I would think, if he goes there. But I don't think Hooker jumps any of the 4.
I don't know. I would imagine that kind of how the mocks have gone and kind of how everybody's been talking, for the most part, with take away the exceptional hot take and everything.
Yeah.
I would imagine most NFL GMs have the first 2 pretty clear set in stone, interchangeably, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. The next 2, pretty clear interchangeably, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis.
Yep.
5 is pretty clearly Hendon Hooker, and then things get muddy after that.
Right.
But I think those are kind of all set. You know what I mean? That's
why I think someone's going to get up for Hooker, because who's going to take him? If you need him, and we all know, I mean, look, It's a copycat league. There isn't a Trevor Lawrence in this draft, but you know what? You don't need a Trevor Lawrence to go to the Super Bowl and win. You need a very good quarterback, don't get me wrong, but that's what these teams are banking on. 3 of them are in our division. I mean, they're sitting there going, well, look what the Jags did in a year or so, 2 years, with their stud quarterback. Let's find a stud quarterback that we can pay. We love Derrick Henry, but guess what? That's not winning us titles. It's awesome that he's so great and big and he's awesome, but that's not winning us Super Bowls. So let's get a QB that can help get us there. And maybe, between the 4 that we're talking about, they go for one. The Colts are going to go for one.
100%.
Definitely, as they should. And the Texans, I tell you what, I saw a mock. Now, granted, some mock, I saw a mock for them. I was like, damn, that's a good mock. I mean, they had they had the quarterback Young, and then they had a receiver, and then I'd have to go back and look, but I was like, that's pretty impressive, And that's what and that you look at that when you lose, that's what you get. You get these opportunities to build your roster back to through the draft and develop guys, and that's what Balke just got done saying. Trent Balke's like, look, we did the free agency last year before, and this a little bit this year, hardly any, but now it's draft time. Now it's focusing. We got the right locker room. We got the right players in the locker room. Got a good mix, good young talent with some vets. They all get it. They're all together. Now we're going to add to that, hopefully with first day starters, hopefully, or just starters in general, and then they turn out to be very, very good players. So it's going to be exciting. The question is, which route do they go? I tell you, I do like looking at the mock scram with seeing who can be there. Now, I saw something this morning I don't believe. Joey Porter Jr., I don't believe he's going to be there at 24. I don't. Yeah. I think he's going to be gone. I saw another one, the massive right tackle from Ohio State, DeJuan Jones. Jones, yeah.
That is a big SOB, bro. Oh my goodness.
I love it. So I know, but if you go with him, what are you saying? Okay, he's my right tackle, and then maybe you move him. Man, that would be a big ass line. Can you imagine that offensive line hypothetically? Cam, Little, Fortner, Scherf, Jones. You know what? Think about the massive offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles when Doug was there and now. I mean, it would be pretty close, wouldn't it?
A common theme of
hypothetical, of course, but you never know.
A common theme of Doug teams going back to last year with us and further back with the Eagles is he's always had dominant O-lines.
Yeah, big. That can move, though. They're not just road graders.
And they're big, and they've always been well coached. Like they perform well. Like he's always had offensive lines that are up to par.
It's key.
And
it's key.
And that's why
you got to have it.
Doug is very rarely, with the exception of I think his last year in Philly, things kind of went off the rails a little bit. But he's very rarely had like bad teams.
No, right. No.
Even his teams that weren't winning titles were always solid.
They were playoffs.
And it's because...
except the last year.
I think it's because he always had the trenches
he's had a lot. I mean, he's a great play caller, and he's just had the personnel, and he knows what... You know what? He can take a Carson Wentz or a Nick Foles, either one, and make them into a quarterback that can help him win a Super Bowl.
And if he didn't have the trenches figured out...
No, of course.
So I think that's a big reason is that allows you to be able to do a lot of the other stuff. It allows you to creatively call plays. It allows you to let your quarterback sit there and have a little bit of time just because that stuff is always up to par.
Well, and I think too, like, and Doug's as smart as anybody. Like, if the O-line isn't up to par, then you call plays differently.
That's true. That's
what you have. That's how you adapt in this league. Like, okay, if my guys can give my guy time, I want to go deep. Who doesn't? Even coaches want to see the bomb for a score, But if I can't give my guy time, then screw that. I'm doing quick throws, and let my guys make plays, and I'll get them open and the likes of that. All right, so let me ask you this, and I'll throw that out there to you as well, Jag fans. Corner over edge. They're both sitting there. You going edge, you going corner?
I'm going edge.
I'm going corner. Why are you going edge?
Just
because we need pass rushers, no doubt.
I think that you are, even if your corner play, even if you don't have the talent at corner that you may want, you're more likely to get those guys to play above their head if you're getting to the quarterback than vice versa.
It also gives your D-line a half a second more if you got shut down corners. So it goes both ways. It works both ways. I don't think it's like a horrible pick or anything.
No,
and I'm not look if they. I don't. Right. I just wanted to go with the best player, whatever that is. But I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, if I go edge again, then I went edge with Trayvon.
Yeah, I hear you.
Now I get like, well, we still need pass rush. Okay, these guys better be really good pass rushers then, not projects, not Chason. Not even a Trayvon, right? He's still a project.
These better be dudes that got to the quarterback.
They can rush the freaking passer, period. It's natural. They don't have to, you can see the bend.
I don't have to wait until 2025 to see if it's going to work.
No, right. So
I need them beating tackles this year. I agree with that for sure.
Yeah, so that's why I'm reluctant to think that they're going to go that route. And I maybe, look, I saw one where they passed up the kid from Florida.
Osiris Torrance.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, look, if you like to tackle more than you like to guard, you do have, some flexibility with the offensive line right now. And if you go tackle, I think you're going to see Walker go inside.
Well, you've talked about this multiple times.
Yeah.
Particularly when we talk about a 3-4 defense and how important the nose tackle is.
Yeah.
But everyone falls in love with tackles and edge rushers in the draft, and everybody wants to solidify their edge pieces offensively and defensively. But man, on either side of the ball, if you're getting killed interiorly, you're screwed.
Oh,
if you're three interior offensive linemen or your nose tackle / defensive tackles are getting beat on defense, you're screwed, man. Right. Forget what the edge guys are doing if those guys can't at least hold their own.
Well, look, we've seen it here. When with Josh Allen,
100%.
When Calais was here, he was much better.
Yes,
I just got done talking about all these great 3 techniques, right? I mean, think about it. You need those guys on your team. Disruption's everything. You know what I mean? If you're not disrupting in the backfield as a defensive lineman, you're not doing your job. And I'm not just talking the outside guys; those inside guys, man. You got to collapse that pocket. Then get in there and then hunt and then beat up that quarterback like every quarterback needs to be beaten. Deontay Banks may be there. Emmanuel Forbes, I see his name a lot. Corner out of Mississippi State. So I think it's going to be fun, man. Thursday night, 27th. On the 28th, the Dad Bods are playing Whiskey Jack. So we'll have the draft on. You don't want to listen to those analysts anyway, do you? Who cares what they got to say? Watch the draft and listen to some good music.
You should make the pick on stage.
I should.
In between songs?
Yeah.
With the first pick.
Yeah, well, it'll be the second day.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all right. What do we got? 1 pick, though, right? We'll be in the middle of playing.
I think so, in the second round, right?
Yeah, 56, I think. Interesting. I've got a new favorite draft prospect. He hails from Tennessee, University of Tennessee.
Okay.
He's a massive offensive lineman. And his name's Darnell Wright. And if you haven't checked out Darnell Wright recently, I think it was on Twitter.
It was.
You should, because it brought a laugh to me. I laughed right away. I thought it was funny. I don't know who it was against, but it was against somebody that was saying that he can't play left tackle. He can only play right tackle. And to be honest with you, in today's game, it doesn't matter anymore. They're valued the same. So who cares? I don't know. Juwan Taylor just got $60 million to go to the Chiefs. That's enough. Granted, I think they're going to try to play him at left, but either way, what's the difference? The league has made the tag the same, the value's the same. So right tackle, left tackle, it should not matter. But anyway, online he sees it, so he quote tweets it, and Darnell Wright wrote, "Eat a dick." What do you know about it? What have you played in or started in? What do you know about anything? I just thought that was classic.
Willie Lutz.
Eat a dick. What's that?
Willie Lutz is the guy's name.
Willie Lutz said it? Yeah. Well, hey, look, I love the fire out of the kid. Take no crap from nobody out there. I agree with that, but yeah, I don't know. Some people be like, oh, that's so. If I'm a coach, I'm laughing. I'm like, look at that young man sticking up for himself, Not a bad, it could have did it a little different, but so what? It's good enough.
I think he was talking about him because I just looked at his Twitter page.
Yeah.
And Willie Lutz does like Bengals coverage.
Yep.
And the Bengals still need some offensive line help, and they're picking later in the first round.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of Darnell Wright territory.
Yeah, he is. He could be there for the Jags sitting there at 24.
Yeah. So I think that's why he was talking about him in the first place. For context.
Again, thank you very much. And again, it shouldn't matter what you play today, I don't think. Right tackle, left tackle, whatever. You're still going to get paid if you're any good. Back to OBJ, to the Odell Beckham going to the Ravens. 1 year, $15 million, up to 19. He got what he wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, he got what he wanted. Good for him. And look, I don't know. I didn't see him run. But if he's healthy, the guy can still motor. And he's still, obviously he's got great hands. He can make plays. It might be a little bit too much drama for me. Not drama in a negative way. Like, he's not drama, but he's just kind of like Hollywood.
He brings a lot with him.
Well, he's popular. He's a good-looking dude. He's one of the top wide receivers in the game. He's brash. He gets out there.
He and Drake are good friends.
I'd be doing the same thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, but that might be too much for me, as if I was the head coach. But nonetheless, I think Harbaugh can handle anybody. He's done it many, many times. I got to imagine Lamar's back. I got to imagine he's coming back. There's no, right? Or somehow you've...
Well, you're going to sign OBJ to have Tyler Huntley throwing to him?
Or did OBJ not have a market at all? Like, was this the only team? I wouldn't think that. You know what I mean? Maybe not at 15 mil. Maybe lower, but you got to think there are other teams that would want his services.
100%.
It's funny if you think here, I'd still want Ridley. I don't know. Now granted, healthy versus healthy. I mean, OBJ's pretty damn good. I mean, he is good. But I think I'd still want Calvin and see what he can do with Trevor.
And Ridley's not a whole lot younger, but he's a little bit younger.
Couple years, Ridley's 29.
And I think OBJ's like 31 or something like that.
Yeah. And again, if he stays healthy, he's fantastic. I don't know. I mean, look, one thing, and this goes for any team out there, right? The quarterback, you got to manage these egos. Like, hey, man, I want the ball. Hey, man, I want the ball. Quit throwing it to that guy. Quit, why aren't you throwing it to me? Like, I'm open. Everyone thinks they're open. But if you got all these guys, how are you going to? Hey, man, I've got incentives to make. I want to make the Pro Bowl. I want to make All-Pro. I want to score the touchdown. I want to have the 100-yard game. And you got to have the right leadership. And I think we do here in Jacksonville to handle that. OBJ would be a little bit more to handle, I think, in that regard. And I don't blame him. Yes. Give me who can make I love when T.O.'s on the sideline with San Fran. Who can make a play? I can. Who can make a play? I can. He was a little much for me too, but came to play every Sunday, man.
I loved in Dallas when he looks in the camera and he says, "I love me some meat."
Yeah, so he was. It's too bad all the drama because he did have a lot because he was one of the best, if not of all time. Physically, I mean, he did. He had everything. You throw him up there with Moss, right? Of course, Jerry, maybe not as top, but right there. I mean, physically. And production-wise. And by the way, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you.
You're good. He's probably 3, right? If you're ranking those guys, he's probably 3.
Probably 3, yeah.
It's probably Jerry, then Randy, then T.O.
Yeah, just because Jerry's got all the hardware. And he was
Jerry's
phenomenal.
the GOAT. I don't think anybody really disputes. Jerry Rice is the best receiver to ever play.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's much of a debate.
Yeah.
And then Randy
was just such a he beat us in 98 as a rookie. 3 bombs up in the Metrodome. We clinched the division, AFC Central back then in 98. We ended up 11-5, and they smoked us 50-10. And Randy, I wasn't starting. I was doing special teams, short yardage, and things like that. So when I'm on the sideline watching Randy Moss, like bomb, 3 bomb, touchdown. You're just like,
I don't know.
Skinny as a rail. Like you're like tall, like obviously, but so skinny. You're like, holy cow! This guy.
I think one of the biggest compliments you can give to a football player is when they're doing something really special, they make it look easy. Randy Moss made deep balls.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you would watch it and you would think that you could do it.
Right.
Like, it just looked like anybody would be like,
think about
it doesn't
managing
even look
that.
like he's sprinting.
Think about managing that ego, because he was like, throw it up.
Yeah.
Just throw it in the vicinity. I don't care. I'm open. I might not look open, but I'm open. Trust me. Just get it up high. And he was right most of the time. Well, you couldn't out-jump him. He could jump to the moon. You couldn't out-jump him.
When he went to the Patriots, it was like they were in practice.
Yeah.
Just cooking defenses like it was nothing.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. I was like, how do you, like, what?
Yep. I remember when the Bears added Willie Gault growing up. And he was just a track star. I think he came out of Tennessee. But he could catch the deep ball. And that's all they used him for. And it was like, you understand why you need that against the defense. That puts a lot of pressure on that safety. A lot of pressure. Can you imagine back to Moss? Like, you imagine, yo, man, throw it up. Give me the ball. Randy, I can't throw it to you all the time. Yes, you can. I got to feed these other guys. No, you don't. Get them. Give it to me. I don't blame you, Randy. No doubt about that. Hey, I saw online. I know, look, Jimmy and Fred here in town, Jimmy Smith, Freddie Taylor, future Hall of Famers. We all believe that. I did see a thing on Jimmy. There are only 3 wide receivers in the history of the game with 9 or more 1,000-yard seasons. And Jimmy's one of them. Jimmy's one of them. And it's like the guys we're talking about. It's either Moss and T.O. I forget who the other 2 are. It's like those guys. And then Jimmy.
Jimmy made football look easy.
That's tough to keep a guy out of that. You know what I mean? And look, the stat I always use for Fred, 4.6 yards a carry, 2,500 carries minimum. Only 2 guys average that their whole career. Freddie T, Barry Sanders. What more do you need? It's a Hall of Fame. It's not, how many Super Bowls I won. It's not, how many commercials did I get. It's best players out there. You can't deny those stats. I don't know.
Also,
I tell you what, I had a front row seat. I had a front row seat to all of it, man. It was fun to watch, no doubt.
Also, do you know currently which running back that is currently not in the Hall of Fame has the most rushing yards all time?
Freddie T?
Freddie T.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It was Edgerrin James had him by a few yards,
that's right.
And then Edge got in a couple years ago.
That's
so
right.
Now Fred currently has the most rushing yards of any running back ever that's not currently in the Hall.
Yeah. He'll get in.
Fred's banging down that door right now.
Yeah, no doubt. And should. He was a special player, man. And if he didn't get hurt, who knows what his records would be. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
That injury was nasty. Tore it right from the bone, man. You ever have a groin pull?
Oh.
I'll take that times 1,000,000. Someone
no thanks.
took an ice pick and whacked you right into it. No doubt. 2 of the greatest players ever, without question. All right, so we're about, 3 weeks away from Thursday? Is that right? 2 weeks.
2, yeah.
2 weeks from this Thursday, it'll be the NFL Draft. I hope everybody out there, thanks for tuning in, of course. Today, all you Jag fans, and then all you other teams' fans, man. It's a great time of the year, and I love watching it, man. I won't watch it verbatim. I won't sit there and watch it. I'll have it on Thursday night without question. And of course, when the Jags pick, I don't know where I'm going to be yet. I haven't figured out if I'm going to do anything. A lot of times I just like sitting at home and watching it.
I do too.
Hearing the stories and hearing the I do like hearing the analysts when they talk about the guys.
I do too. I'm
for a little bit.
I watch the draft very analytically.
Yep.
And I like to kind of evaluate the picks and see who's available and who's going to trade. Like, I like to really get into it, and that's hard to do if you're kind of out and can't really lock in.
Yeah, you can redo it. I always look at, who was available after, like if Jags picked someone at 24, who else did they have a shot at? That's what I always like looking at. Like the next 4 or 5 picks, like who else would they be doing? But nonetheless, it's going to be a great time. All right, that's going to do it for me this time around on a Tuesday. I'll be back Friday. My anniversary with my beautiful wife, 23rd, is this Saturday. heading out of town on Friday after the show. So going to bang out a podcast here at the 1010XL studios and then head out. But we'll look forward to doing that. Of course, I'll be on Jaguars Today from 10 to noon right here on 1010XL. If you're from out of town, it's 1010XL.com, right? Listen live, click, boom. Friday from 10 to noon.
Or download the app.
What's that?
Or download the app.
Or download the app, the 1010XL app. Yeah, and you can check out the podcasts are on there. The podcasts on there?
Everything's on there.
Yeah, everything's on there.
We got podcasts. We got YouTube videos. We got live radio. We got it all for you.
We got naked women. No, we don't. We do not. Beers and naked women. No, we don't have those. You'll have to find them on your own. All right, until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. And we'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Peace and love, everybody.